Welcome to episode 431, Ryan Smith, Father of Experience Management. This is an outline of episode 431. Let us meet Ryan Smith.
Yeah, so I moved to Utah when I was 2 or 3 years old. My father was a professor at University of Oregon, so I was born in Eugene, Oregon. My father's from Washington State, and my mother's from Los Altos, California, Palo Alto, the area. And so I pretty much grew up here, lived outside. I lived in Seoul, Korea when I was 17, did a Mormon mission in Mexico City, and then lived in Denver, Colorado, and worked for a little bit in LA, and came back to Utah, and I've been here ever since.
Nice. Ryan Smith was born in Eugene, Oregon in 1976. Both his parents are PhDs and academics. His father, Scott Smith, was professor of marketing at the University of Oregon. How the idea of Qualtrics was born in 1997.
Smith taught marketing and marketing research at Bingham Young University for 32 years. In 1997, he developed an online survey software program called Research Suite that made it easier for businesses to connect with their customers.
Of course, our flagship product is the Research Suite, which allows people to create surveys, to collect their data, distribute it, and look at your analysis and your reports on the back end.
Whereas the idea sprouted from his frustration in gathering research data.
But the idea of taking a research project that would span a 3-month period of time and compressing the data collection portion of it, where you build your survey and collect the data to a period of days, if not hours, all of a sudden you've saved a lot of time, you've saved effort, you've reduced your cost structure, and that is something that really empowers researchers. It changes the game as far as they're concerned, and you know, the light clicks on and you say, hey, this is really, really good. You know, I think we can do something here.
5 years after the idea was born, in 2002, his son Ryan Smith would create a startup in his basement.
Smith's story begins in a basement, a great idea with a small start.
Turned into servers, you have a DSL line, you have no money.
You guys worked out of your home, kind of is this the garage, the business?
It's definitely the basement story. Yeah. So we were in the basement for 5 years, and that's a long time. We had a big basement. I mean, there was like 20 people there. And it was tough to recruit people to come buy into the basement vision and do that.
Where you work all night long, you have 1 or 2 PCs that have been...
It was right after the dot-com bust. These are the 4 co-founders. Scott Smith, the father and professor and the idea man. Stewart Orgill and Ryan Smith, who co-founded the company in their junior year at Bingham Young University. And Jared Smith, the elder brother of Ryan Smith, who was an executive at Google. At the end of the 4th year, in 2006, Qualtrics reached $1.3 million sales, but still with 15 employees, still operating in the basement of Professor Scott Smith. After 10 years of bootstrapping, Qualtrics finally took venture funding of $70 million in 2012. The reason? Ryan Smith wanted to scale Qualtrics to a global billion-dollar tech company.
Nothing was better than in 2012 when we raised our first round of funding, which was $70 million, take it to the world. And forever the rule was, hey, we're going to do this all by ourselves. We're not going to raise any venture capital. And you know, in 2012, we said, hey, wait a minute here. There's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. We probably need to figure out who are the smartest partners in the world and what don't we know.
But it took some convincing. Sequoia convinced you to go with them. And
yeah.
Ryan Smith is the father of experience management. So what is experience management?
Is of what you do, like just your best description.
So we built a technology or a platform which people are able to go and log into and create. And what they can do is they can create programs to help them understand their experiences. So every organization provides experiences, whether they know it or they don't. There's an experience that you're providing your employees, or experiences you're providing your customers, or anyone that uses your product. There's an experience. And what we're doing is we're helping companies close the experience gap. which is we think something's happening, but this is what's really happening. And often brands are really surprised, or companies are really surprised, that when someone leaves the company, or a customer quits, or they tell someone something bad about the company, they didn't see that happening. And part of it's because they don't have the technology to actually gather that experience data. And so Qualtrics has developed a technology that lets you gather all of your customer experience data, all of your employee experience data, all of your brand or product experience data on one single platform. And so it's really cool. And we work with 9,000 brands globally that are doing that, all from yogurt to cars to every time you fly on most of our popular airlines, which is kind of interesting recently. So it's you get to see that, you know, a brand thinks something's going on, but actually what's the experience down here is totally different. And that gap, our data helps close. And anyone can use it. It's actually really easy to use and really easy to do, where a long time ago it was really hard.
In November 2018, Qualtrics was acquired by SAP in an $8 billion all-cash deal. Ryan Smith became billionaire.
From SAP's point of view, how transformative is this transaction? Does this change your company fundamentally?
This is the jewel in the crown of SAP, yes, and it does change us fundamentally. There is a huge new category called experience management. Customers today want to protect their brands, their customer relationships. They want to inspire their people to be all focused on what's going on outside the company. And they want to understand in real time the sentiment analysis of everything that moves across the value chain in their business. So this is experience management. And Qualtrics is the de facto standard in this space. Now, SAP is the standard in operation management. The whole data around operations, 77% of the world's transactions run SAP. So if you can marry operational data with experience data, you have the holy grail of enterprise application software. So
What have I learned today? Two things. First, Ryan Smith has succeeded building the largest tech startup in Utah, working with his father, his elder brother, and his classmate. Second, he did it in an unorthodox way. He spent 10 years bootstrapping. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. My next video will be Ryan Smith 10 Lessons. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.